What's up guys, this is Free Spool Outdoors. We'll be doing some ice fishing today, but we just got about an inch of rain last night. It's pretty windy today, about 50-mile-an-hour gusts all day, so instead I think we're going to go to the tackle store, pick up some new ice fishing stuff. So yeah, take you along with me, let's check it out. Alright guys, let's go get some ice fishing stuff. Pretty cold, pretty windy out today, so it's a good day to just get out, pick up some new stuff we needed. So alright guys, so if you're new to the channel, this is going to be a lot of fishing stuff. It's Free Spool Outdoors, so I'm not going to limit it to just fishing, but that's definitely my passion and what I like to do a lot. So we just got some ice out here up in Minnesota, about 6 inches around most of this area, I'd say, and so we're going to be doing a lot of ice fishing here in the near future, and it's a long winter here, so I love to ice fish. We don't get to do it all year round, so it's kind of one of those things where you take it for granted sometimes, but once it comes, it's something you like to do a lot of, so I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of that now. So out today getting some tackle, like I said, and pick up some new jigs here, probably some new spoons. We've been on a nice little crappie bite, so they've been a little more aggressive. We've been fishing tungsten jigs a lot, but the spoons seem to be getting the bigger fish, especially if they're more aggressive up in the higher level of the schools, if you can find them. So alright guys, kind of change of plans, back out of the store here. I ended up actually picking up this camera bag for the GoPro. I didn't have anything really to carry it in, so I decided to pick that up instead. I had a gift card, so pretty much got it for free, which is nice. But yeah, so now I'll have stuff to carry that around in and keep it a little more protected. So, alright, we'll take you back home and catch up with you there again. Alright guys, so here it is. It's just a little Case Logic camera bag. I think it's meant for smaller digital cameras, but it'll fit. It's got lots of compartments and stuff to fit the GoPro and all my accessories in, so it'll be good, I think. It's got a little kind of like a neoprene divider almost flap in it, with a Velcro down in there, so you can Velcro. You can set the GoPro down on the bottom, Velcro it, and then get your accessories in on top. So I've got the chest mount here, your framing housing, mounts and whatnot, the selfie stick kind of a thing, and then all your knobs and stuff, as well as little pockets on the sides here. You can put in like your SD cards, memory cards, and extra batteries and whatnot if you need. So I think it'll be a good little camera case for me. Should be able to haul stuff around. It's something I really needed. I didn't want to just have to carry around the GoPro, in my pocket or anything like that, damage it. So I definitely needed to pick something like that up, and it should be a good bag for me. Alright guys, since I noticed this video is pretty short, all I did was go to Fleet Farm and pick up this camera bag for my GoPro. I thought I'd do a little bit of a rod and reel arsenal for you for this ice fishing season. So I've got about 5 main setups that I'll use, really depending on the species obviously, but then also the bait and technique I'm going with for that day. So to start off, this is my main panfish combo. This is the number 8 tackle snitch rod, 25-inch. It's got a nice quick tip on it, but at the same time it quickly transitions into that backbone, so it's a nice rod for any size panfish really. I've caught plenty of bass on it as well, that you'll get every once in a while. This is a number 8 tackle CGI inline ice reel. I like it a lot. It's got that good gear ratio, so you're not winding up constantly, especially if you're in deeper water, fishing for those basin crappies or something. It's also got the inline reel spool, so you're not going to get as much line twist when you're sitting there jigging, especially if you got those finicky panfish. One last thing I will say about this number 8 snitch, this is a 25-inch, which is a good length for me. Hole hopping in a shack, it's just a good average length. They do also sell, I believe, a 20-inch rod version, as well as a 29-inch model. The 20-inch is a little short for me. I understand maybe if you're in a shack, a little closer quarters or something, that 20-inch might be a little easier to maneuver around, but the 25-inch is a good average length for me. The 29-inch would also be fine. A hole hopping outside probably would be a little bit better. better situation to use that. I will say though that even though there is that quick tip that transitions into that backbone really quickly, if you're fighting a bigger panfish, they'll actually sometimes get a little bit of a head shake, almost like a bigger predator fish would. And if you have that little, just short tip, I've noticed sometimes that they can actually get a little bit of slack on you, so you have to be careful, especially if you're into bigger panfish. That's where I would say that the 29-inch might also be a better option for that because of the longer total length of the rod. It does have a little bit longer tip section, so this one I'd say is about 4 or 5 inches of the tip. In the 29-inch you might get a couple more inches of that. That's just a couple extra inches you're going to get for the fish to shake its head back and forth and not get any slack. So I will add that into this rod. But overall, probably my favorite panfish rod. It's a great combo. Again, not super expensive or anything, but it'll get the job done no matter what you need to use, whether it's a tiny spoon or a heavier tungsten like I usually fish, especially for deeper water. But that's a really good combo for me. My next combo is going to be, I can use it for bigger game fish. Lately I've been using it for more aggressive, bigger panfish, crappies. This is a number 8 tackle candy apple. It's a 28-inch medium, but it does have that much softer tip. So I can fish it with a smaller spoon like I've got on here, just a little Northland buckshot with a little plastic on there. Those fish that are more aggressive, usually higher up in the schools, if I drop down and shake this, I'll usually start out with that first, and if I can get them to go, usually I'll get the bigger fish to bite right away, and then I'll go to that smaller tungsten jig to try and pick off the rest of the school and see if they're still nice sizes or not. But this is a good combo for that. It's got that softer tip, so you do feel those and see those less aggressive bites, but at the same time it transitions into that backbone really quick again. So I can still fish those heavier spoons. It's not going to overload the rod while I'm jigging. I can still get a good hook set no matter where the fish catches me in my jig stroke. So again, with the reel, I've got a number 8 tackle CGI again. Same thing. Line twist isn't as big of a concern for me with spoons, but this is just a good overall reel again to fish with those lighter baits again. Get it up quick with that gear ratio, like I said. Here I've got just 6-pound mono. I think it's trilene. Nothing special, just something to have a little bit more abrasion resistance from fighting bigger fish and getting them up quickly. So another good combo for me. Next, I have just this cheap little Fravel panfish combo. It's got the spring bobber on it. I'll only really use this if I'm in a shack or something and I know I've got finicky panfish. Maybe I'm in a high pressure system that day, bright bluebird skies, and I know I'm going to have to sit there and really work for my bites. This is super sensitive, like I said. I think on here I have 4-pound, just basic ice magic line here. Also, I forgot to mention on that snitch for line, I've just got 3-pound Suffix Ice Magic. 3-pound for me is really my go-to if I'm fishing with smaller jigs, especially if I'm targeting some bigger panfish. 2-pound will work, 4-pound will work, but at the same time I feel like that 3-pound just right in the middle is the perfect line diameter where you're going to get the good action on your jig, but at the same time it's going to have more abrasion resistance than a 2-pound line. Every once in a while I'll hook up with a bass on this little tungsten, and that'll put my line through a lot of stress. So if I'm fishing with 2-pound, I don't really want to try and fight a bigger fish, but at the same time 4-pound, I think the thicker diameter kind of hampers your action, as well as the fish I think can maybe see a little better if that is something that you are worried about. So 3-pound test is really for me my go-to line diameter size, and Suffix Ice Magic is the line I use for that. So next, going away from panfish into the bigger game fish, walleye, pike, even bass, I guess you could say. I'll go for this 28-inch medium. It's a 13 fishing whiteout combo. Really like the tip action on this. It's a slower action. It's not just that quicker tip like the other rods I showed you. It's got that more parabolic action, but at the same time it's not super stiff. You can get into that backbone, even though it's farther back. You get into it quickly, and it'll deal with a lot of bigger head shakes that you get from a walleye or a big pike. The reel, just another 13 reel, came with the combo, but it does have a pretty smooth drag. And that's something that's important, especially when you're fighting those bigger fish that are going to head shake a lot. Usually when you get a combo, the reel might not be the best in terms of drag, but this one actually has a pretty smooth drag. You know, it's not going to slip or get stuck, and then you'll have to worry about getting that extra pressure and worrying about breaking off. So it's really nice. It pairs well with this rod. For line, I go away from mono on this setup really for one reason, and that's just to get a good hook set, especially if I'm in deeper water. For those bigger predator fish, they do have that more bony mouth as well, so you kind of have to drive the hooks home if you're fishing a treble hook spoon or a single hook down there with live bait or something. So this is 20-pound Suffix Ice Magic line on here. It is a braid. It's an ice braid. I know a lot of people don't like to fish braid in the winter through the ice. I'm just kind of more worried about it freezing up, and that does happen. It is an ice braid, so I think it's reduced a little bit more than if you were fishing just a standard, Power Pro or some standard braid. But for me, fishing the braid, I'm not too worried about it. If it does freeze up, if it's cold out there, I can just basically take my glove and just swipe it across, and that ice will break off. Whereas if you're fishing with a mono, say a 6-pound, 8-pound mono or fluorocarbon even, and you try to just break the ice off, you kind of got to be more careful, as you will, put in some indentations into that line, and it can get frayed a little bit, and you might have to worry about not necessarily the fish biting you off, but if you're up higher, jigging where your water line is and you get freeze-ups, when you're fighting the fish and the line's getting abrased on the hole, that's something you might have to worry about a little more. I've just got a little swivel though here connecting that 20-pound main line down here to this is 20-pound mono. I like to play it safe. I think the fish can maybe see it. It's a mono, so it's not super visible, but it's obviously not as invisible as a fluorocarbon. But I just like to go heavier there, just not have to worry about losing my $4 or $5 spoons that I count on to get bites. So I haven't had too many problems with fish coming up and just staring at the bait too much. So I don't really worry about it too much. And I've just got a little quick snap on here, switch out spoons, rattle baits, jigging wraps, whatever I'm fishing really quickly, not have to retie a bunch of times during the day and worry about having to tie on a new leader after retying a few times. So this is my main rod I'll go to fishing for bigger fish. It can fish a lighter spoon, but at the same time it's got enough there. It's a 28-inch medium, so you can fish those heavier jigging wraps, even rattle baits and stuff like that. So a really good combo, not super expensive either, which is nice. The last one I'll show you here, this is my dead stick rod. It's a 30-inch Shakespeare Ugly Stick Pro Ice combo. Again, pretty inexpensive, not going to break the bank at all. Pretty stout rod here. It's a slower action, just like the whiteout, but it is a lot stouter, I would say. The tip really doesn't bend. It kind of just folds in half almost. And so I don't really like to use that a ton for jigs and stuff. If it's a heavier bait, I will at times cut this off and put a spoon on. But for me, I really like it as a dead stick bobber rod, especially. So I've just got a little jig here. I'll just put a minnow on there, single hook with a sinker up to a barrel swivel. Again, this is 20-pound mono below here. I like to play it safe, like I said, up to a swivel. This is 8-pound mono main line. Just a little bobber. For me, the difference here, if I'm fishing a dead stick without a bobber, I would like to have a little bit softer tip, kind of like that candy apple or even that snitch. But for me, when I have the bobber, I really like to be able to drive those hooks home, especially here I'm fishing mono, not a braid like the whiteout rod I have. And so I really just like to be able to reel down, feel that tip, flex a little bit, know they're on there, and just drive that hook home. Good drag on here, as you can hear. So it works out well for me as a dead stick. So that about does it for my rod and reel arsenal, guys. This will be the setups I'll use for this year, 2016, 2017. None of them overly expensive. I'm not going to break the bank. I usually like to find a good deal, but also need to know I'm going to be able to count on those rods to get the job done, especially up here in Minnesota where you've got temperatures below zero a lot of the times you're out there. So I definitely feel confident in these combos and being able to open the rod bag up and know that no matter what mood the fish are in, what bait I need to fish, or how deep or shallow I need to be, I feel confident that I can can fish whatever I need to do on these combos and help me catch more fish. So guys, hope you enjoyed that rod and reel arsenal. Good luck fishing out there. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.